Mr. Carter?
We up to?
Hello.
Been fun, right?
You got on your power now tonight.
I figured it out today. I figured it out. I've spent about 144 hours actively campaigning. Active. Well, yeah, or like doing like something like this, you know. But.
I had cold water for
Here,
you.
sit next to me.
We were doing our best.
You're welcome to it.
Got a leak, so he came out and fixed the leak that he had been working on. Y'all come back in, he said, hey, your water will turn back.
What you don't do it anytime? I don't
Called the water department. They came out, dug the hole, and then they reached down and turned the valve and the water.
Man, I lost me.
Oh, God. Here you go.
Where you going? Hey, Eric. Just so I found.
Just having that.
I don't think I need to.
Your mattress comes today.
I'm going to Kentucky in the morning.
Have we been through this before?
Is this good? Hey, all right.
Thank you, sir. What about it, Mr. Dodds? I don't know
Yeah.
Everybody lowered their chairs.
Yeah, Lord, take your chair. Go Japanese style, sit on the floor.
Yeah, it is.
I came from the Habitat meeting, so I had to bring
Just take it hard.
How you doing?
All right, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and start the public hearing, on ordinance 2024-3-1. Is there anyone here to speak on the public hearing ordinance, the ordinance on the public hearing?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
can we get a 50,000-foot summary, please?
Christian, will talk about it just a little bit.
On the, what is it exactly?
The man, the official zoning map of the, you got it.
To amend the zoning map?
Ordinance has since amended changes on.
Oh, this is on the Petersham.
Right.
This is on the Petersham property, so it's changing, from, light industrial I-1 to commercial property. It's the property
one over by
that
the
turns
bowling
on the
alley?
Jamestown Highway right past the hotel. That's what that is. So it will be officially changed on our zoning map,
Thank you.
from C3 to general commercial, or from I-1 to C3, excuse me.
And on these public hearings, we also put it in paper, and I've not received any calls. I don't know if any of you all have a call or not.
Is that whole lot, the field?
Christian,
No, it's not. It's just a small lot that's directly adjacent to the pavement of the Smart Shopper. So it's only probably about 65, 75 foot wide right there. And there's a lot between it and the Overton Motel.
Another lot. Yeah, orange, 65 feet across it, yeah.
Okay, if there's no one else here to, have any questions with the, public hearing, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. If you would, please stand. Your gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all the many wonderful blessings that you gave us, Lord. We thank you again for allowing us to come together as a board of aldermen, Lord, and we pray we do everything in accordance to thy will. Lord, we pray for the country and especially the men and women that protect us, and, especially the ones on foreign soil, Lord, from put thy hand around them, bring them back home safe and sound, to be thy will. We pray for the families that have lost loved ones, comfort them as only you know how. And, we ask you to bless the sick, especially the ones we know well, restore them back to much want to help, to be thy will. We pray that we always look to thee for wisdom and guidance. Forgive us of our sins. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Chief, you lead us in prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. Okay. Roll call, Rebecca, please.
Alderman Club, Alderman Dale, Vice Mayor Dotson,
Present.
Alderman Elder,
Here.
Alderman Langford,
Here.
Alderman Linder,
Here.
All right, we have enough for a quorum. Need a motion to approve the minutes of last month's meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Bill Linder,
Second.
second by Alderman David Langford. Any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, motion passed. Public comments, any public comments here this afternoon, this evening? Okay, hearing none, additions or deletions, I have got a couple. I need to add the street department and sanitation department supervisor to the agenda. Item number 7. Also add Magnolia River, agreement, as item number 8. Motion by Vice Mayor.
I got one to add to it also. Like to talk about maybe street lights or something, getting them at the overpass down here. I've had concerns, people are coming to me.
Okay.
When it's dark, and I don't know if there's anything we can do, but I just told them to bring it up and see.
Yep.
Where is it? It's down here at the overpass where they turn up on 84.
Yeah, okay,
gotcha.
7, 8, and 9, got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bill Linder, any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, motion passed. Item number 1 under old business, second reading on the ordinance 2024-3-1. We just had it approved the first reading last month. Just had the public hearing. Mr. Mansell gave the Cliff Notes version of what that is. Do you have anything else to add?
No, we have had no other comments on that property.
Okay, no other comments on the property. This will be the second reading. Motion to pass the second reading.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Bill Linder, second by Alderman Bruce Elder. Any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passed. Under new business, item number 1, downtown revitalization, Mr. Gene Kent and or Miss Shannon Cantrell. Yeah.
So, I'm sorry I don't have any updates on the courthouse project. It's dragging along, and I talked to Ray Evans the other day, and he said he's having trouble getting anybody to communicate with him from the state level. So that's sort of where it is, and we have no idea how long it's gonna be before we get notified. Should be time, but I keep saying that every month, and this say it one more time, he meant that. The, sidewalk project, I think, is in the same situation.
Same thing.
And of course, Church Street is ongoing, and you probably have more details on that than I do, on where it stands, we can talk about that.
Yeah, so, right now, we are, under some, a lot of communications with the post office right now. If you've had an opportunity to drive down South Church Street, you can see that we've, dug it up. We've got, electric lines in the ground. Obviously, they're not hot. TW Lakes has got their fiber in the ground. We've got our drainage in the ground, all of our catch basins. So we're just kind of waiting on the post office, see exactly what they're doing. Our next step will be pulling the sidewalks away from the buildings and constructing that and putting in new sidewalks and weather permitting. That's where we are. So I'd like to think that we should. I'd like to think by the end of September this project could be over, maybe December. I'm pulling for sooner, but August 31st would be great. But that's kind of where we are on that project.
The post office is gonna move faster than the state, you reckon?
Good luck. Good luck. We'll see.
Aside from that, I'll run through, we've got, our first Live in Livingston this Saturday, the 18th, with McBride and the Ride at Central Park. Another event coming up June 14th and 15th is Pioneer Days. It will be on the square. We had moved it off the square, but since construction didn't start, we were happy to move it back up there. And we moved it to June this year because of the fact that the fair is gonna interfere with the time frame we usually have. Saturday, June 22nd, we have Lady Van Zant, Sail On, which is the Beach Boys tribute group, a group called Escape, and they are a Journey tribute group. So we think that'll draw a big crowd into town. August 10th is our Summer Fest. We have Tommy Lee on board, Four on the Floor, and a group named Kinfolk. And other than that, I've got nothing else.
Okay.
What Van Zant did you say?
Lady Van Zandt. not Van Halen.
Lady Van Zant.
I thought you was meaning the Van Zant with Leonard Skinner.
No, that's would be great, wouldn't it? I think that should be that.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to update y'all a little bit on the $100,000 downtown improvement grant that we received last year. A lot of our businesses that were awarded the grant have already completed. Well, I say a lot, there's maybe 2 that have completed, there's 2 that are still working on some things. And then we had one recently decide that they did not want to move forward with using their money and not complete their renovations. So we are gonna have to back up just a little bit and reallocate that $20,000 that we had awarded this particular business to someone else. So we're going to open up a round 2 for this grant. This will be a grant for one business, and they will need to be doing something that is transformational to the front of their building. So they would need to spend I think around $26,000 in order to be reimbursed the $20,000. So currently Amanda Maynard is on vacation, and as soon as she gets back from vacation, we're gonna set deadline dates. Open the grant, we're gonna set the deadline dates, and of course I'll give you more information at the next meeting. I'm sure we'll be kind of right in the middle of everything by then. So just keep in mind some of these others. Have y'all looked at have y'all seen Sassafras? Have you seen their building?
Beautiful.
It looks great, and they were a recipient of one of the $20,000 grants, and they've done a terrific job. Overton Department Store has put in new windows, they're gonna paint their building, put in new shutters, new lighting, and I think even a new sign. So they're almost done, and then there's a couple on South Church Street as well, but they've not quite got things completed yet, but we should be done with all of it soon. And we have a ribbon cutting. I was about to say that's all I have. We have a ribbon cutting on Friday morning at 10 a.m. with Kids Closet. They are at 208 South Church Street. So if y'all can come out and be with us for that, that would be great. But other than that, that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kim. Thank you. Item number 2 under new business, we have the airport. Jason Duke had a procedure done today, so he wasn't able to be with us. Mr. Josh Abramson from Barge Design is here, which is our engineer here at the airport. Give us a little update, and also, if the rain stops, a little tour for board members to see exactly what the future plans looks like up here, okay? Take it away, Josh.
Josh Abramson here with Barge Design. Hopefully the weather holds out, but I think it will. It looks like this will pass here. So I have in the next room over, we can show you the recently approved airport layout plan drawing that was approved both by the Tennessee Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration. I also have some conceptual drawings of the new terminal design, where we're looking to renovate this lean-to section of there. In the near future, we'll be looking to do the final design of relocating the fuel farm, the fuel tanks, and we'll have to start the wetland delineation. We got to do the environmental part, preparing for future construction here at the airport, and then also I can show you guys a little bit of what we're doing on those plans and with the some of the construction with the fence, and we can show you some of that with the drawing, and then we could just walk around and look at the pavement. If you have any questions about kind of why we do the things we do, I'll be here to answer those questions as well. So looking forward to it. Thank you.
What about all the properties acquired?
Well, we have 3 of the 4 properties that have been acquired, and we're still working with your legal department on the 4th, but making good progress on that.
We have title to the board track now. Judge Caroline Knight entered an order authorizing the city to take immediate possession of the property. We've recorded that with the register of deeds, which is vested title in the city. So I'm not sure if Poston has closed yet.
It's closed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
That was the final piece of the puzzle.
We've
acquired all 4 properties. There's still a matter of what the purchase price for the board property is.
Yeah.
But we have possession of the property, and the project is clear to go.
Okay.
And we still have to do our due diligence with the Department of Transportation and moving forward with that and establishing a timeline.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Abramson? Thank you, Josh.
And I'll be here for after the meeting.
Yeah, appreciate that. You didn't lock your keys in the car or anything.
And I'm in my pocket.
Last time, I think that's, or maybe.
That was my first time here.
Okay.
Mayor, my first time.
All right.
Lock my keys in my pocket.
Thanks for the report. Wish
sir.
Dr. Duke the best. He had some health procedures done today. Item number 3 is hire the pool seasonal workers. You've got a list there of workers that will be working at the pool. These are lifeguards. The pool will be opening up Memorial Day weekend, and going from there. So.
Make a motion, we hire the workers.
Motion made by Alderman Langford. Is there a second? Second by Vice Mayor Dodson. Any discussion? All for the motion, let know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion pass. Item number 4, performance services. Mr. Brian Stone is here. I think he is tried to reach out to as many as possible to talk about the project that he has been working on for a little bit, but I won't steal his thunder. I'll let Mr. Stone, if he will.
Yeah, appreciate it. Here, I'll just make sure. Did everybody see a copy of this? Do you want a copy just to look at? Here, you pass those down. So if you recall, back in November, this board authorized performance services to go and develop and engineer a project that aimed to reduce your operating costs, reduce your energy efficiency, or reduce your energy consumption, and try to save any money throughout city operations, mainly focused on water, wastewater plant, and the raw water intake. So we've completed that design and engineering and are ready to present kind of this project for you guys. we've moved a couple of things, but I want to just step through these if it's all right. Biggest thing, there's a couple of really easy that I think are easy to do, maximum benefit. I'll move that away. That's okay. First is the LED lighting. So in every building across city, it would be all new LED. There's some already at the city hall, so we understand those wouldn't be done. But at every other building, inside and out, would be new LED lighting throughout city facilities. The second one, and stop me if you have questions, feel free, is building weatherization. Essentially what that is looking at every window, every door, every seal, sealing it, caulking it, putting new gaskets, new stripping, new sealing, to create barriers to prevent infiltration from heat loss or air loss from the HVAC systems. So those are really more comfort focused, but they do drive a good amount of savings. So if you look in that orange column, we've got the cost. The yellow is the first year of guaranteed savings from us. The blue column is the operational savings that the city will see, and then the green is the overall savings in year one that the city will see. So third is a destratification system at the maintenance garage, and essentially, if you've seen those big A fans, it's a smaller version of that within the garage that will help with comfort and keep kind of everybody cool in the summer months and keep the heat from rising in the winter months. So there is some energy savings, but it is absolutely a comfort issue. So those are kind of two building weatherization or building envelope pieces that we have as part of the project. Building controls is I'm sorry, please.
Oh, you're fine.
No, I apologize. Thank you. Building controls is fairly simple and straightforward. It's new smart thermostats in every building, and then the programming that comes with it to make sure that they are adjusted for occupancy when the buildings are occupied, when they're unoccupied, so that you guys maximize your energy savings throughout the day. So if this building, for example, isn't being used from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., we kind of scale it back. We might set it to 75 in the summer and 65 in the winter, and so you save some energy by scaling back the HV systems. The next ones I'll get into a little more in detail. I think it's the water plant VFDs. That's a variable frequency drive, and essentially what that is on your pump motors, it allows your motors to run at the speed at which they're needed. So right now, your equipment at the water plant runs all out unless it is manually adjusted by the water plant staff. So in the mornings, you probably need that to be run. From 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., you need them to run 100%. But you may not need them to run 100% between midnight and that 6 a.m. So variable frequency drives automatically adjust the speed of that equipment so that it scales it back to 30% or 50% or whatever percentage is needed so that it runs at maximum efficiency. Does that make sense? Same thing on the sewer plant. So the sewer plant doesn't have those as well. The water plant already has what's called a SCADA system, and that's a supervisory control and data acquisition system. But essentially, that's just a way to prevent manual operation. You don't have to manually, change the processes and change the speed of the equipment and change those pieces of equipment in the water plant or the sewer, in the water plant. The sewer plant does not have a SCADA system. Everything is done 100% manually. So every piece of equipment, if it needs to be adjusted from how it runs, how fast it runs, what efficiency it is, they have to go in manually and do it. The second thing a SCADA system does, I will tell you that this is absolutely crucial if you have anything that you are going to have a loss in operational staff at your sewer plant. A SCADA system allows you to set up processes and controls that go forever or they go until they're changed. So if you have, if you lose a water plant operator, you use a supervisor or a technician, you don't have to change your processes. You have a process already in place. So it is a control system, just like an HVAC or a thermostat, but it's a control system for the equipment. So that includes integration into those VFDs and a full, not a full SCADA system, but kind of a medium, it's not a Cadillac, but it's kind of like a Ford SCADA system at the sewer plant to help you run more efficiently. Lastly, I think is the leak detection. So we do some really cool things internally. We have 4 drones that we can fly. So we actually came out and flew every distribution line in the city of Livingston. So we can have a drone that flies over your distribution lines. It'll look down about 18 inches under the ground and can see leaks underground before they even bubble up to the top. So we can use drone or thermal imaging cameras. So we identified, we've got that report we're ready to share with you, but we want to come back and do another round of that. The idea was to try to do that between the raw water intake and the water plant because it's such a long distance and would take a really long time for somebody to walk that 19 miles, but there's not a lot of water loss. Most of your water loss is in the distribution system. So this is one strategy that you can use to identify potential leaks or go and investigate. The other piece of this is what we call acoustic leak detection. And this is two pieces of equipment that if you think about it, you put one down one manhole and go 100 yards and put another down another manhole, it'll send a ping, a little sound through the line, and it will tell you if there's a leak in between those two sensors. And so we've set up to come out and do, I think, 3 zones as part for the city of Livingston, the 3 zones for your distribution system that have identified the most unaccounted water loss. After we do those 3 zones, we're going to train your staff on how to use the equipment and turn the equipment over to the city of Livingston. So we'll not only help you do it the first time with 3 of these zones, but we'll turn it over to you guys. It is yours after this. So you can continue to do that as you go to prevent unaccounted water loss. So those are 2 major strategies that we think will go through it'll probably reduce somewhere between 6 and 8% in your unaccounted water loss is what we're estimating. The last is a solar array at the raw water intake. The one thing I will tell you, this is dependent on a utility easement from the Army Corps of Engineers. So we're working on that, but that's the only piece. This would actually reduce the consumption of that plant by $125,000 a year. So that was really the major focus for how do we reduce your pumping costs, how do we reduce your water treatment costs. This is a major way. So if you install solar, if you know where the raw water intake, there's a little piece of, I guess, triangular land right off to the northeast. I think it's the northeast of the raw water intake. This would put a solar array on that property. So this also comes with, there's a program under the Inflation Reduction Act for the federal government. 1/3 of that cost is refunded automatically back to the city of Livingston. So you would actually get $1.13 million back from the federal government. It does include some processes and hoops that you got to jump through. So we've actually included some consulting time from an accountant and from a lawyer on our end to help the city walk through those. So it's not an additional burden on Phyllis, it's not an additional burden on any of the staff. It is hopefully an easy way to get back compared to the cost at the end. So those are the pieces of it. A few highlights on just the overall project. This will not cost the city of Livingston a dime over your budget. Your current budget, this actually reduces the money you spend in your budget by $14,000 in year 1. So it saves more than it costs. We guarantee the savings on an annual basis. So Performance Services will actually put a financial guarantee that you will save that much money, the $215,000 every single year. So we put a financial guarantee on that. If you don't save it, we write you a check for the difference. The first year alone, the savings are more than 14% over the annual cost. So you would have an extra $14,000 in your budget for next year after this project. That goes up each actual year. So we assume that costs are going to escalate a little bit throughout the life of the project. So we do put a small escalation, if that makes sense, on the return. So we think it's going to cost you more to operate, energy is going to cost more, so we have a small escalation on the cost throughout the life of the project. Overall, the project will save about $4 million. It'll save over $4 million, excess of $4 million, not just what it does, excess of $4 million over the life of the project. So should you choose to, and I hope you do, tonight would simply be saying, yes, we want to do the project. At the next meeting, I would come back and say, here are your ways to finance it. So it does generally require debt up front to pay for the project itself. We simply say your savings cover the debt service, more than cover your debt service on an annual basis. So instead of paying Twin Lakes or Upper Cumberland or whoever it is, let's call it $1 million a year, you're now paying them $700,000 a year and using a portion of that delta to repay for the improvements. Last thing I'll tell you is this will actually remove about $880,000 from your capital plan. So there are things on your within the city that we identified over the next 3 to 5 years you are likely going to have to budget for. There are things on this like the lighting, like the VFDs, like the SCADA system, like the weatherization. Those things you will likely have to budget for in the next 3 to 5 years. This removes the need to budget for those. So it removes almost $900,000 for future expenses that you would have to budget. We don't factor that into our kind of calculations of return on investment, but just so you know, that's a big piece of it that you don't have to. It takes a bunch off your capital plan. So happy to answer any questions you have. I know that was a lot of information, and sometimes I know meeting beforehand, that was my hope, is that I could go through some of this and answer some basic questions before we got to this, but I know everybody's busy, so happy to answer any questions you guys have.
So we're looking for a motion to just to move forward in the next step, as he said, it would be approving the project that he's talking about, but we'd just be talking about the financing of it the next meeting.
Correct.
It would not authorize anyone to start the project or go in debt or
Correct.
borrow this or borrow that.
What this allows us to do is simply say, this is what the project is, these are the scope items, we're now gonna go get financing offers. So we'll go to the bond fund, number of banks, we'll go to some specialty financiers for these projects and come back with you options. I will tell you, we've already built in a healthy interest rate. We've built in 4.5% interest in the cash flow of this project. So that more than covers the finance cost, more than covers all the costs associated with even borrowing the money. So all those costs are baked in to the whole return on investment. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, to move forward with this again, to move forward, to at least look at the financing, we just need approval of this project to move forward, and then we bring it up again in June to see if we want to go further. Okay?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Alderman Bill Linder. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Vice Mayor Ken Dodson. Any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, motion pass. Okay, carry on, Mr. Stone. All right, item number 5 is Twin Lakes online auction for a bucket truck. We are in need of a bucket truck for the city. The one that we had, ironically enough, we bought from Twin Lakes 15 years ago, I guess, and it's down. It didn't pass the safety test that it takes. So currently, we have borrowed T-Cats, and most departments, the bucket truck comes in handy, as you know. Bucket trucks just come in handy for traffic lights, mainly for lights that are parked, or pickleball courts, tennis courts, Christmas decor, and things like that, and we're just in need of one. Twin Lakes has got a online auction that I would like for the board to give me approval to purchase one of these trucks on this online auction for Twin Lakes. So that's what I'm looking at. Again, financially, it would be coming out of 3 or 4 departments, so there won't be one department that would take a hit. So that's where we are. So I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have.
Make a motion, we buy a truck.
Motion made by Alderman David Langford. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bill Linder. Any discussion? All for the motion, let them know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion pass. Item 6, LPD, Chief Ray Smith.
Thank you, Mayor, Board of Alderman. Last time I was with you, we had a meeting. We talked about some weather damage that was done to a training facility up here on Bill White Lane. So we went out, and the insurance money, we got it back. And the vocational school, the gentleman that's over the vocational school is a great guy, just a great guy. He said, if you could get the materials, we'll build it. You ever heard that? You build it, they'll come. Yeah. Ain't that great? So that guy, he approached us and we talked about it. I wish I could think of his name. Unfortunately, I'm not good with names. So we all sat down and came up with a little drawing. It's right there in front of you. Training is one of the biggest things in law enforcement or any kind of deal that you can do. And we do a lot up there. A lot of other agencies use our training range. When you bring the training to your city, you don't have to send folks out one and then him try to come back and give it all in there. We can get our whole department up there and get a training took place. Matter of fact, our in-services all this week, we do 40 hours, 80 hours altogether divided up, and then any kind of special class with other agencies coming in. I'm asking the board and the mayor to give us permission to move on with our project.
One, it's getting rid of a trailer we've already got permission with. There's a second one up there I'm asking to remove also and sell it. It's a double wide. Chief Etheridge had a good idea to get her own training up there years ago, and we all went down and bought these classrooms and put them together and used them for training. We've used them up. They've come to an end time. It's time to update everything. So our insurance money will cover all the material to build a 60 by 80 building that would be strictly for training for the police department, fire department, or any other departments around that needs a facility to go and train. We host a lot. We've had hundreds of people come through training with us, and I'm asking for us to be able to go on with the project, the approval to build this building with the vocational school overseeing it. We will also work with Mr. Mansell on making sure that we've got it all set that it needs to be for the city use and all. That's just a rough drawing. We're getting our bids out. Right now, just the material list just for the building without the concrete is about $66,000. It'll be covered with the insurance money. None of this should cost the city anything, the way everything's laid out and what we're getting rid of at this time for the training facility up here on Bill White Lane.
Thank you, Ray.
Yep.
Self-explanatory.
Motion to approve.
All right, Vice Mayor Ken Dodson.
Second.
Is the motion, second by Alderman Bill Linder. Any discussion? Any questions for the chief? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passed. Item numbers. Go ahead, sorry.
So, SROs are all in every school. Mr. Bill Lee had a great idea and it's working. It's to bring safety to our school. My job years ago, and I'm going to tell you, in 1998, when I started with the city, I was selected to be a part of an SRO program, and I worked at the high school, taught there. I taught it countywide all over. There was a great problem about funding SROs for the school system. So Bill Lee said, I want to take it on the chin, and State of Tennessee is going to give us opportunity to have SROs in every single school. So we do that, and he gave us X amount of dollars. He gave our department the opportunity to get all the training, to get folks in place, pay these folks to be a part of the SO program, and that's the officer that's in the school system. They're to bridge the gap between the police department and students or the community and whatever their needs are. They're there quite a bit. And he said, use the money. So fortunately, we have a plus program. We have a plus. We didn't waste your money. We made sure we watched every bit of it. So in this program, we're allowed to buy equipment. So we are getting in better shape, and I know I've spent a lot of money on cars and stuff, but I'm here once again to ask the mayor and the board of aldermen to help me fund a couple patrol cars, and it's for the SROs to have. What I'm needing, I got a plus balance in the grant, and I'm needing $10,000 to buy 2 patrol units for the SROs. The rest of it will be paid by the grant, and that funding will all be spent here. And unfortunately, we still got a plus balance that we'll have to send back due to the fact that there's nothing else to spend it on. And you have to spend it on the SRO. That money has to be, we are really earmarked, and they really check us all the time, make sure we're spending that money for the SROs, and it has to be used in that school system. So I'm asking the mayor and board of aldermen to fund $10,000 to buy 2 new GMC. They're like a Blazer.
So that you're getting 2 vehicles, police packages for $10,000. $10,000, where that would come from, just out of the general fund, out of the police department's budget.
Make a motion, we approve.
So I second that.
Motion made by Alderman Langford, second by Alderman Bruce Elder. Any discussion? All for the motion, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passed.
Thank you, Mayor.
Nothing else, Chief?
Well, I want to tell you. Don't get me started. See, I like to tell story stuff. So the mayor, in his great wisdom, said, Chief, you're going to have to get some of these guys into some training about risk management. And that is what it's all about. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I just want to put a spoke in it. You know, I've been in this thing 27 years. The mayor was a host at risk management and said, hey, you need to take this. And we went up there, and the NT partners put it on. And it's about the risk that the police department and law gets into a lot of times. Great information. We sat through 2 great days. The mayor was a great host, made sure everything was took care of. I want to thank the city for allowing us to go do that. We learned a lot, brought it back to our department, and opened a lot of eyes that we didn't have before. Now you see a lot of risks that we have, and we're trying to create a lot of things in a better way. But I want to thank the board and the mayor for allowing us to go up there and do that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Is that it?
That's it, sir.
Okay, all right. Item number 7, sanitation and street department supervisor. After we advertised for the position of street department and sanitation supervisor due to Mr. Wayne Peak that is retiring from the city of Livingston, formed a leadership team, went through the interviews and graded each applicant. Had 5 applicants, 4 showed up. And I am prepared to recommend Mr. Christian Mansell as the street and sanitation supervisor, and the committee supports that as well.
Make a motion that we hire Mr. Mansell as a street supervisor. I also put in my motion that we hire or move Billy Oliver up as assistant supervisor, and I also put in my motion that we move Billy Oliver's pay up to $26 per hour.
Yeah, so we'll do one motion at a time, and the first motion is to hire Christian Mansell as sanitation supervisor. And there's a motion by Mr. Langford, second by Vice Mayor Dotson. All for the motion, let know by saying aye. The second motion Mr. Langford is wanting is to hire Billy as the assistant supervisor. I am going to tell the board this, I don't think there'll be any problem, but we have always allowed the supervisor of the departments to name who their second in command is. The board has never took action on naming who is second in command, period. And I
Mr.
think
Mansell, do you have a problem using Billy as second command? No. Billy's got 27 years experience here at the city. He's done everything that the city is involved in. I think he'll be a great help to Mr. Mansell. I don't care who you are. If you come into a position, believe it or not, you don't know everything. And I just think he'll be a great help to him, and we need to pay him. So that's where I'm coming from.
And I don't think any of that is incorrect. I just say that our supervisors for the last 20-something years that I've been on the board and as mayor, we have not selected a vice or a second person in charge. I don't have any issues with it, but we're setting a precedence that's something that we have never done. And the supervisor has always had the opportunity to name who they want. Now, I've had a meeting with Mr. Mansell today that goes along with exactly what Alderman Langford is saying. So I don't think there's going to be any issues. I'm just saying that we don't tell the police chief who needs to be the second command there. I don't tell the sewer plant who needs to be second command. These are folks that work with these folks on a daily basis. And we are absolutely, by voting on this, we are stripping the supervisors of that power. We are setting a precedence of that. I'm not against what Mr. Langford is saying. Please understand that.
That's my motion.
Yeah. All right, well, there's a motion.
Has that been discussed with Mr. Mansell and?
Yes, sir. Both of them sitting right there together. Just test either one of them. Any questions?
There's a motion, there is no second, there is no discussion until there is a second.
Is there a reason to make a motion?
I mean, no, you don't have to second the
I
motion.
mean,
but-
I don't care, it doesn't matter to me, I just, if he wants to appoint him, he can appoint him.
Christian can.
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't need a motion.
Okay. I'm good with it, I'll second.
just saying, just so we're all on the same page. So we're gonna be voting on all the assistant, on who the supervisors choose to put in charge. Okay, I just wanna. All right, for the motion, to, put Billy, in charge, and again, just for the record, Billy, nobody in here in this room is against you. I don't want you to think that by any shape, form, or fashion. You and I had a discussion, Christian and I had a discussion today. This is the mayor and the employees talking to each other, and that's where it should be, and that's where it should stay. That's my opinion, okay? There's a motion and a second, for the motion, all for the motion, let know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, motion passed. What was your next one, Mr. Lane?
Okay, I had a couple folks come to me, there's.
Oh, I'm sorry, we've got, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Okay.
I've got item number 8, Magnolia River Agreement. I have, I don't think if they're still on the conference call, we usually do a Zoom, but we don't have the Zoom capability up here at this time. So, in front of you, you have a contract, client order number 24_02, AGOL. And I have, Magnolia River, that, Jared L. and I have talked to about, this American Rescue Plans Act. And the American Rescue Plans Act, for us to receive the money from all of the, ARPA, in the way of water, we had to hire, someone to do a GPS system, and also come up with a plan on exactly how we're gonna do it. So Magnolia River, and I've got them on the phone now, Miss Allison Hudson Dunn. Miss Dunn, are you present?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, so the board has got the agreement, in the board has got the agreement. Can you talk just a little bit about, exactly what the agreement is about and what it does for the city, please?
Absolutely.
Thank
So
you.
first, I'd like to say thank you, Honorable Mayor Hayes and the board aldermen, for giving me the opportunity to speak. Can everyone hear me okay? I know it's slightly unconventional just to be over speakerphone.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. To give you a little bit more background, in March of 2021, Congress passed the American Rescue Plan, as Mayor Hayes mentioned. That is abbreviated as ARP. It's part of the COVID-19 relief fund, and that provided the Tennessee state government with over $3.5 billion to put towards hard-hit industries and other efforts that serve the community as well as the environment. So one way that these ARP funds may be used is for necessary investments in water infrastructure to specifically address Tennessee's drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater infrastructure. And to that point, Tennessee's Department of Environment and Conservation, otherwise known as TDEC, awarded approximately $1 billion in the form of non-competitive grants to communities for projects. So Mayor Hayes has done your city a great service by seeking to use the funds to invest in the community via critical improvements to the water and wastewater infrastructure. And he's now reached the phase of this effort that requires the development and implementation of an asset management plan, or AMP. And that is required by the Water Resource Reform and Development Act, as well as the Clean Water Act, and for compliance with the ARP for your reimbursement. So I'm sure you all are very aware that a lot of these funding programs come with a very set of defined criteria that must be met. And the same is for the AMP. In order for that to be approved and for funds to be released to the utilities, there are a number of stipulations that must be met. Some of those that are most pertinent to the project proposal we're presenting tonight include a digital map of greater than 75% of the system, current asset inventory and condition assessment, which requires someone to go out and physically view each individual asset and make a record of that condition. And then the development of an operation and maintenance plan and schedule. So the work that we are proposing to perform as part of this effort will allow the city to implement a GIS system that will support compliance with not only those three criteria, but will also bolster future efforts related to asset management, capital planning, inventory and condition assessments, and safety. And that's just to name a few. So we are asking the board and the mayor to approve this project. And so you don't have to get into the nitty gritty. I know sometimes these can get a little bit technical, but basically what we would be performing for you is, one, we would design a database that is specifically tailored to meet all stipulations that have been laid out in the ARP AMP checklist. In addition to that, we would stand up a cloud-based geospatial system that allows for mapping of the water and wastewater assets. And then we would perform an initial data processing activity that will begin the population of that map. So in doing so, we already meet one of the primary requirements for getting the release of that funding. And then we provide you with a system that can be further enhanced and developed through additional efforts related to field collection exercises, records research, and overall digitizing. So yes, of course, it allows the city to receive these funds and reimbursements. But what it also does is set the city up to be managing their assets using best practices and the technology that is now available to you to create collaboration environment. These cloud-based platforms are secure and they also are shareable. So if you provide access to members of your utility board or members of the utility, whether they're in the field or in the office, they are able to go in there and view those assets. They can make critical decisions faster. The process of maintenance becomes much more efficient and cost effective. And I mean, I could talk about GIS forever because obviously that's my background and my passion. So that's a high level overview. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have, or Mayor, if there's anything else you'd like me to discuss.
No, I don't think so. And the price on this is $27,500. That will be paid for, of course, out of the water, but also this ARPA will reimburse us back for this too, because it is mandated. So that's where we are. And I mean, if you don't, you don't get the money, or if you don't get this done, you don't get the money. And we're talking about millions of dollars. So that's, at the end of the day, I mean, we really don't have a choice. So.
Motion approved.
Motion by Vice Mayor Ken Dotson.
Second.
Second by Alderman Bill Linder. Any discussion? All for the motion, let know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passed. Thank you, Miss Hudson, and I'll sign that and get it to you tomorrow, okay?
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, have you got our, can we email Magnolia now, or are we still blocked? I know.
We're still working through that. If you'd like, maybe we can have a call tomorrow to discuss kind of the next steps. We just need a bit more information.
Okay. Yeah, one of our employees got hacked, and I think that's what happened the last time. So anyway, thank you, but yeah, give me a call tomorrow. Thank you.
I certainly will. Thank you, everyone.
All right, bye-bye. All right, okay, item number 9, David, you wanna talk about the street lights?
I was approached by some folks saying that it's real dark on the ramps getting on 84 and then going both ways or whatever. And anyway, they just wondering if maybe somewhere or something we could get some lights down there. They had talked to the state or whatever, or I think I'm telling you right, and said that they couldn't do no markings on it on account it was concrete. And so they said it was more or less, a safety issue. So I told them I'd bring it up, see if anything could be done, or might know what direction to go in or something.
Yeah, so I've been working on this for a year, with, Upper Cumberland Electric Membership Corporation and with TDOT, Bo Hoskins, which is the regional manager. We've just not gotten anywhere. We have tried to, the complaints, I've talked to the folks, that it is dark down there. And when it is raining, it's even worse. He's talking about the overpass going to 84, leaving Livingston going to 84, or vice versa, 84 coming back onto 111. They have not gave us permission. They have not gave UCMC permission to put the lights down. That is a state highway. The city can light it up if TDOT gives us permission. So I've got that in the bowl. Good luck.
It is a concern because, matter of fact, I have seen big trucks turn up the hill and go into the neighborhood thinking that they was hitting Highway 84. So it is dark,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
So I told him I'd bring it up.
Thank you. Well, that's where we are, and you can, that's, I can give them the email that, me and Barry Johnson and, Bo Hoskins, has, talked about it realistically a year.
Okay.
So, on a final note here, the, Tennessee Department of Environmental Conservation, will be at Livingston City Hall Thursday, June the 6th. The new state plan, this is for the general public, new state plan for air pollution from oil and natural gas operations, will be Thursday, June 6th. There will be a presentation and Q&A starting at 5:30 at City Hall. The public is invited to come, that wants to come. And for more information, you can go on TDEC's website under tennessee.gov environment /air/oil -gas -ops, and that'll get you. Okay? All right, board members, is there any other business? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Vice Mayor Johnson, second by Bill Linder. All for the motion, let know saying aye. All opposed, like sign, motion passed.
Pretty good, but before we came.